Today we're going to make the most amazing, crunchy, chewy, salty jerky that you probably have all of the ingredients in your house for. No dehydrator needed here. First thing you're going to need is a roast, a beef roast of some sort, like a shoulder roast or a chuck roast. You're also going to need a sheet pan and wire cooling racks. And lastly, you're going to need a good quality salt. I personally use Baja. We also have a Celtic and a Redmonds sea salt. All of those work great. I like a coarse grain, but if you only have a fine, that's perfectly okay. I just think the coarse gives it just a little bit more texture. You want to defrost the roast almost all the way, but not quite. You want it to still be a little bit firm so that when you go to cut it, it's not moving all over the place, and it just makes it a lot easier. Next, you want to preheat your oven to its lowest temperature on the bake setting. That's usually 150 to 170 degrees. And then you're good to go to start cutting. You want to make sure that you don't cut the roast strips any more than 1/4 inch. So you want to start on the end of the roast and just cut thin slices until you get to the other end. You're going to have a lot of slices of beef, and that's what you want. Next, you're going to put the wire rack on top of the baking sheet and layer all the beef slices all on top of the wire rack. I personally have to use 2 baking sheets and wire racks because that's how many slices I get from one roast. Now that you have all the slices on top of your wire cooling rack, salt the top generously. Don't be afraid of the salt. It tastes amazing when the jerky is all done. It pairs perfectly. So salt it generously, and then you're going to flip all the pieces over and salt it on the other side. Now you're going to put it in the oven. I personally have 2 pans, so I have to use 2 racks in my oven. Turns out perfectly fine. It has not been a problem. So put it in the oven and keep the door just slightly cracked. Now I felt like for my oven, it was cracked a little too much. And if I pushed it shut anymore to get less of a crack, it would just shut all the way. So I got a wire whisk, which you can see here, and I used it to prop the door open just a tiny bit. And that actually served another purpose. It told my family that I'm in the middle of making a 15-hour jerky and do not touch the oven. Set your timer for 7.5 hours. And when that timer goes off, you're going to come back to the jerky and flip all of the pieces. And then shut the oven door, leaving it cracked, remember, and then set the timer for another 7.5 hours. And that's it. When you come back, you're going to have the most amazing, chewy, salty jerky. No dehydrator necessary. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you're looking for another recipe, I have a frothy, warm drink that I drink at night, and it really just kind of makes me kind of feel like I'm having a dessert, but it's completely carnivore, and you can find that recipe right here. So I hope you have a great day and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.